in this lesson, we are going to learn how to make shaky footage not shaky anymore. So I'm going to just push the plus key on my keyboard to zoom into the timeline, and we will get started with clip 2 here. I'm going to temporarily mute the music track so I can talk as we go over this clip. So let's just play clip 2. Now it's slightly shaky, so we are going to use Warp Stabilizer. Let's go into the effects panel here and type in Warp. There it is under the Video Effects Distort bin, Warp Stabilizer. So I'm going to drag that right onto clip 2. And as you'll see, this notification on the right, bottom right here comes up saying Warp Stabilizer requires clip dimensions to match sequence, fixed by nesting. Basically, because clip 2 is a 4K clip and we are working in a 1920 by 1080 timeline, this effect will not work on this clip. So let's push Command Z on the keyboard to undo that. What we'll do is right click on clip 2, go to Nest and click on that. And now we can name our sequence. So we will call this 2. That indicates to me that this is the nested sequence for clip 2. Push OK. Now it's nested. So we will go up to the effects panel and drag Warp Stabilizer on that nested clip. And there we go. What's happening right now is Warp Stabilizer is going to its default settings to stabilize this clip. In some cases, it actually works great. In some cases, you have to fiddle around with the settings, but let's see how it does. As you can see in the program panel, it is currently analyzing the clip. You can see it's not quite done analyzing yet. It's at 96%. There we go. Let's just drag the timeline down so we can see what it's done. So if we go to stabilization results, it has added smooth motion to this clip at a rate of 50%. The method was substance warp, and this effect has stabilized, cropped, and auto-scaled this clip. Okay, so we'll drag the timeline back up. Let's play that back to see how that turned out. Okay, so that looks better. It looks a little bit smoother. I'm happy with it. Another great thing you can do if you're editing on a smaller screen, like a laptop, for example, and you want to watch the clip closer up, you can use the tilde key on your keyboard. So first of all, we're going to click on the program panel and you can see it's highlighted in blue. That's how you know it's clicked. Now let's click the tilde key and I'm going to push spacebar to play that. I've pushed spacebar to pause. Let's push the tilde key again to go back to the original view, and there we go. Okay, so I'm happy with clip 2 stabilization. Let's move on now. The next clip we're going to stabilize is clip number 9. This clip is shakier than clip 2. It's shaky because we've punched in on a 4K clip. So this was originally at 50 on the scale over here in effect control, and we have scaled in all the way to 100%. Generally, if there are handheld shots being filmed or shots with movement, when the shot is a wide shot, you won't really notice, if it's filmed well, you won't really notice shake. But when you zoom in, or in this case, scale into a 4K clip on a 1920 by 1080 timeline, you can really see the shake. So I'm going to mute, let's just mute all of the audio on this timeline for now, and we'll play back clip number 9, click on the program panel and hit the tilde key and push spacebar. As you can see, that's quite shaky, so let's push the tilde key to get out. So again, what we're going to do is we are going to right click on clip 9 and nest, and we will call this nested sequence name, clip 9. Let me just show you what happens when you nest a clip. I'm going to double click on clip 9, and as you can see here, when you nest a clip, it actually creates a new sequence for the clip. So that's just something to keep in mind. We'll go back to the rough cut sequence, and again, we'll drag Warp Stabilizer on clip 9. And we'll let Warp Stabilizer work its magic on this clip. All right, so let's watch clip 9 with warp stabilizer on it. Click on the program panel, push the tilde key and the space bar. So as you can see, I'll just push the tilde key, the clip warped a little bit. I'm not happy with that. So let's go back into clip 9. We'll drag the timeline down. I like to keep smooth motion on. I like to keep, for the most part, substance warp on, and I like to keep the framing on stabilize, crop, and auto scale, because if you don't, you usually have to scale it in yourself, the clip in yourself anyways. So I always leave that on. But smoothness at 50% I think is too much. I'm gonna click on that and type in 20. Click away, and it's stabilizing again. Okay, so let's play that back. It still has a little bit of a weird warp happening. Let's bring the smoothness down to 10. In some cases, when you have shaky footage, warp stabilizer just won't do the trick and you have to live with the shaky footage. In some cases, you can use it very lightly, like I'm now doing at 10% smoothness, and it will make a little bit of a difference. Let's play that back. I'm still not really happy with it, so I'm going to double click on clip 9 to go into the nested sequence. Click on 9 here. Let's scale out to 80%, and we'll just move the position over a bit. In this case, I rather scale out of the clip so you can still see Kokanee Glacier, but you're seeing more of the clip, so it's a wider shot, so you'll notice the shake less. Okay, so we'll go back into the rough cut sequence and we'll hit the tilde key, play that back. Okay, so I'm not really happy with that. Let's try a few more options within Warp Stabilizer to see if we can get this clip looking smoother. Let me just show you what changing a few things in this effect will do to the clip. So I'm going to click on Borders, Framing, and Stabilize Only. Now let's play that back. See how in the top here, there was black showing through? That's because the effect didn't auto scale to the frame, and that's why I always leave the auto scale on. Let's look at some other stuff here. Method, let's go into position, scale, rotate. We will play that back. You know what? That actually did an okay job of making this clip a little less shaky, but it still showed the frame going in and out. So let's go up to scale here and type in 110. Okay, now let's play that back. That actually works fairly well. Okay, so we will use position, scale, rotation instead of substance warp on this clip at 10% smoothness. I'm going to just bring that drop down arrow up. When you use Warp Stabilizer, depending on the clip you're using it on that has shakiness, you're going to have to customize each setting within Warp Stabilizer and try out a few different things to see what looks best. So that's Warp Stabilizer. This is an effect I use once in a while if I have any shaky footage and I want it to look smoother. Sometimes shaky footage is fine. Sometimes it's subtle enough that you don't really notice it, or maybe you do want to notice it in a video because it adds to the feel of the video. But in this case, since the majority of shots are very smooth and beautiful shots, if we have the option to make our footage any random clips less shaky, we're gonna do it.